Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. This is the first full video on Simply Social Work. If you want to know a little bit of an overview of what this channel is going to do, make sure to check out the first little teaser video that was uploaded today. Otherwise, today we're going to be just starting right at the basics and answering the question, what is social work? So if you're already practicing or you're looking into programs or you're already a student in a program at university, you probably get asked some form of that question all the time. But what do they do? Don't they just take kids away? What's the difference between a social worker or an advocate, a case manager, a psychotherapist? What do they really do? And when it comes to the taking kids question away, of course, the answer is no. That is not all social workers do. Child Protective Services is one small avenue that a social worker can choose to pursue. Many, such as myself, have never considered that career choice and don't work anywhere near that field. But many do work in Child Protective Services. And in a later video, I'm going to kind of do a bit more of a deep dive into some of the myths and realities as to what that actually looks like. So stay tuned for that. Social work itself can be sometimes difficult to conceptualize and difficult to talk about because it's so vague. It's a very big profession and it's changed a lot over the years. Social workers can be advocates, mediators, facilitators, educators, and that's just to name a few of the different roles. And usually a lot of the times when you're practicing social work, you're wearing those hats regularly throughout your practice. You're not just one or the other, but it's usually a combination of some or all of them. But it's also quite different from country to country. So in today's video, as well as most of my videos, unless I say otherwise, we're going to be focusing primarily on Canadian social work, although there are similarities to American and British social work as well. And so keeping that in mind, we're going to be using the Canadian Association of Social Work, or CASW, definition of social work. And it's a mouthful, so don't worry, we're going to break it down into two halves. And so part one of the definition is social work focuses on the person within their environment and recognizes the importance of family, community, culture, legal, social, spiritual, and economic influences that impact the well-being of individuals, families, groups, and communities. Like I said, a mouthful. To put it simply, social workers don't just look at the person or the client, but the wider environment and the other factors that have an impact. We call this the biopsychosocial approach. So the biological factors, the sociological or social factors, and the psychological factors, so things like mental health. In other professions, the way it's different is a lot of the times it's just focusing on the presenting problems, so financial concerns or physical ability, diagnosis, things like that. Whereas in social work, we look at really the wider picture. So not just, okay, if you have financial concerns, but looking at where you live, your background, your family, what you do for a living, your mental health, your physical ability, what social supports you have, what beliefs you have. Really that whole approach to understand you and your situation as opposed to just that particular problem. Kind of seeing how everything comes together like a puzzle to make that situation happen. But social work isn't just about finding problems or identifying problems. It's actually primarily about finding solutions. And so for the second half of that definition, social work applies a strengths-based perspective and views individual, family, and communities as resourceful, resilient, and having capacity. And so this aspect of social work is really what sets it apart from other health or social fields of work, because we don't come in and, we have all the answers and we wave a wand and we rescue the clients from their problems. I mean, we would love probably to have a magic wand and be able to fix problems, but it doesn't work that way. In social work, we know that you are the expert of your own life. You know your strengths and your experiences, and our job is helping empower you to use those strengths and those resources in order to find your own solutions and work toward your own goals. And that's why such a big part of what we do is facilitating and connecting you to resources. We're sort of that behind the scenes support in order to help you help yourself. And it's important to acknowledge here that as a profession, we haven't always been good at that. You know, our history does have some mistakes in it, some paternalistic attitudes, and it's important to acknowledge that we've come a long way since then, but that we also have to continue to work towards that. You know, we are there to support, we are there to guide, maybe if it calls for it, but we're not the experts. It's all about us empowering the experts of their own lives to navigate their own environment. And that's something that we always have to work at being better and continuing to do. And there you have it. Just a brief overview about social work, what it is that we do, a little bit about what sets it apart from other professions. If you want to learn more about specific career paths, if you're still thinking about if this is what you want to do, or you're thinking about a career change, I'll be doing a bit more of a closer look at specific career paths that are available to social workers. So definitely hit that subscribe button so you never miss one of my videos. And if you liked this video, please hit that thumbs up button to let me know what content you're enjoying and to do more of. And I will see you all next week. Thanks so much for watching. The individual, but their wider environment and the other factors that impact. That was a bird. Just flying in the window.